Well, folks, I'd just like to start off this video by saying that I'm not a veteran, okay? I've never served this country. Of course, I have family members who have, and I'm proud of them for their service. But I've never felt the need to go around thumping my chest about the fact that I had a grandfather that was in World War II. I've never been a fan of people who says things like, if it wasn't for us, the French would be speaking German. It's like, no, I read that in a history book, you know. We beat the Iraqis, we put a boot in their ass. I didn't, I watched it on the news. And so I've always tried to be very respectful when speaking about the military because I was raised to be respectful of it, and I was raised with a grandfather who served in World War II. His younger brother was in Korea, my great uncle. Then I had an uncle that was in Vietnam, and my ex-wife was an Iraq War veteran, and her dad served in Vietnam. While she and I was married, people would sometimes see the veteran tag on our car, and they would come up to me and thank me for my service. They would just automatically assume it was me. And they come up, thank you for your service. I'm like, whoa, wait, that wasn't me, that's her. You need to thank her for that. That wasn't me. And it used to get under her skin a little bit that they did that they never recognized a woman veteran. But I always went out of my way to say, that's not me. And if I got out of the car when she wasn't with me and someone said, thank you for your service, I'd say, oh, that was my wife. That wasn't me. The reason I'm telling you this is because I've always tried to speak about veterans and our military with the absolute utmost respect. And growing up, I had family members on both sides of the political aisle. I had Republican uncles and I had Democratic uncles. And they both had respect for the military. But somewhere or another, Republicans got a hold of this argument and they shifted the narrative that they were the only ones that loved the military and that Democrats hated it. They tried to paint this narrative that they were the party of the military. And I've had people say to me, I had a friend grew up on a military base. He was like, dude, if you'd have grew up on a military base like me, you would understand why we like Republicans better. Okay, whatever. Over the years, though, they just kept leaning harder and harder into that narrative that they were all for the veterans. And when John McCain ran against Barack Obama, I mean, they stood proud by that. And rightfully so, they should have. He was a veteran. He served our country. He was tortured during his service. I mean, the man deserves our respect whether we agree with his politics or not. But then somewhere or another, along comes Donald Trump, and their love for veterans just went straight down the drain because he has done nothing but insult and mock them every step of the way. And I could go back down the list of him saying that he liked people that didn't get caught, when he insulted McCain, when he made fun of McCain lifting his arm, when he called veterans suckers and losers. I mean, here I am sitting here trying to remember them. There's been that many of them. When he said that, dodging STDs was his personal Vietnam, when he was given a Purple Heart, and he said this was much easier to get it this way. This guy just goes out of his way to insult veterans, and he's done it again in one of the most insulting ways that I've ever heard. And I'm just going to roll the clip and let you guys see it for yourself.
Sheldon sitting so proud in the White House when we gave Miriam the Presidential Medal of Freedom. That's the highest award you can get as a civilian. It's the equivalent of the Congressional Medal of Honor, but civilian version. It's actually much better because everyone gets the Congressional Medal of Honor. That's soldiers. They're either in very bad shape because they've been hit so many times by bullets, or they're dead. She gets it, and she's a healthy, beautiful woman. It's very... And they're rated equal.
Really, what do you say at this point? What can we possibly say at this point when you have a man who has been so blatantly disrespectful to our military, so blatantly disrespectful to the men and women who have fought and died and served this country? To sit and say that me giving this healthy woman an award, it's better because she didn't have to take a bullet for it. Does he not realize just how truly insulting that was? Does his followers not understand the level of insult that truly was? And they'll try to spin it. I've already seen people trying to defend this, that he didn't mean it the way it sounded. Well, all I know is that every time he talks about veterans, he does so with a disdain. He does so with this attitude that these suckers, man, they took a bullet for this. They didn't have to do that. It was much easier just staying home. This is a guy who, when it was his time to go, didn't. This is a guy, when it was his time to go, found a way out of it. And now they're sitting there trying to criticize Tim Walz's military service. We could go into that whole thing. There is no way that you can support Donald Trump and say you support veterans at the same time. It's just not possible, folks. And if you're saying that, I'm sorry, but you're just brainwashed at this point. You're just, the Kool-Aid has taken hold and there's nothing I can say for you. And I hate to be that rude and that blunt, but that was fucking rude and blunt. And this is a tough video to make, because just when you think he can't get any worse and can't get any lower with his insults to our men and women in uniform, he finds a way to do it. And what's even more sickening is watching the people give him a pass and find a way to twist it to tell us that it wasn't all that bad. And again, I wasn't there. I just read about it in the history books. I just watched the documentaries about it. I just watched it on YouTube, okay? But I just imagined if my grandfather was here and his brother, they were both lifelong Republicans, I just can't imagine either of them being okay with him saying that kind of crap. Especially being some spoiled billionaire from New York who got out of serving his country. I just can't imagine they would be for that. We may not have agreed on everything if they were still here with me today. We may not have agreed on much. But I know those old men went to bat for democracy, and I can't see them being for a guy that has just shit on democracy so hard. This is a guy that doesn't value the Constitution at all, says he would terminate it. This is a guy who says he would be dictator on day one. His followers just dig in their heels and plant their feet and won't back down about it. They're solidly behind this. They don't see what we see. When we point these things out, they just laugh at us about it. They laugh that it got under our skin. And we sit back and we wonder why it didn't get under theirs. We sit back and wonder how they could preach to us for years about how we're supposed to love and respect veterans, but yet they could be okay with that. While they're sitting over here saying we own the libs and thinking they done something. They didn't, by the way. They just showed us who they were. We're trying to figure out how they can be who they are. We're trying to figure out how they can give this all a pass and how they can be okay with it and how they can justify it. But until the Republican Party throws Donald Trump under the bus and cuts ties with him and brings back someone who has respect for the military and for the people who served our country and took a bullet for our country, a real bullet, not a piece of a teleprompter, until they bring back someone like that who will stand up and show respect to the military, I don't want to hear the argument that Republicans give a damn about the military if Donald Trump's your front man. Just drop that argument. Just give up on that one. Okay, you're already trying to downplay abortion like it's nothing, so just go ahead and downplay the rest of it, okay? Don't even try anymore. Just give up on that one. Because I know he's going to say something else. I know this ain't the end of it. That's the thing. I know this ain't the last time I'm going to point and say, what a terrible thing to say. I know he's got more in his bag of tricks, he'll say, and I know they'll be lined up to give him a pass. But for everyone that wants to say that we hate our country, no, that's a man right there that hates his country. He hates the people that defended it. He hates the Constitution. He hates that there's rules and practices in place. He says he has to have immunity so he can do his job. Anyone that would say that definitely hates this country. Definitely hates everything we stand for if they have to have immunity so they can run rampant over everybody. The saddest part about that statement is he'll say something worse. And I'll be sitting here making another video about it. There'll never be a moment where he has any shred of human decency. He just doesn't have it, folks.